Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Towergate. It is Towergate Day number 1136, 1136, Tuesday, May the 19th, 2020. Thank you so much for tuning in. Okay, so there are a lot of confused, bewildered, and angry Trump supporters out there today, and I fully understand it. 100%. Of course, I'm talking about the press conference yesterday with Attorney General Barr and Christopher No Shit Sherlock Wray. Extraordinary. So, Attorney General Barr gives this press conference yesterday, and it was really about this terrorist attack in Tampa and how they've uncovered some new information by getting into the cell phones of this terrorist and things and such. But he knew that he was going to be getting questions about the Obamagate investigation, and probably as a result of some of the tweets and comments that Trump has made in the last couple of days, that Obama and Biden were a part of this and knew all this stuff. So he gets a question from a reporter about whether or not Obama and Biden are going to be targets or are targets of this investigation, which is a criminal investigation. And that is where Barr gives this response. And keep in mind, he knew this question was coming, and the response he gave was one that he thought about prior to the conference, because he's reading. He's asked the question, then he looks down at his notes, and his comment is one that he is reading, that he's thought about, because he knew the question would probably come. Even though the press conference was about something different, he knew he would be asked about the Durham investigation and whether or not it's targeting Obama and Biden. And that probably has a lot to do with Trump's comments and tweets over the past several days. So essentially what Barr says, he says, as to President Obama and Vice President Biden, whatever their level of involvement, based on the information I have today, I don't expect Mr. Durham's work will lead to a criminal investigation of either man. Our concern of potential criminality is focused on others. He also says that what happened to the president during the 2016 election and throughout the first 2 years of his administration was abhorrent. There's a lot of problems with what he said, especially because he had time to think about it. I haven't given any particular thought, and have not sat down and written down what my response would be, but if you hit me cold with that question, I would give the correct response that he should have given, which is, well, we don't comment, as you know, on ongoing investigations. We're going to follow, Mr. Durham is going to follow the facts where they lead him. And where we find crimes or people who have committed crimes, they will be prosecuted. We will let the chips fall where they may, because no one is above the law. And that would include Obama and Biden. That is the correct response, Mr. Barr. Not this. Let's go through that again. As to President Obama, that's former President Obama, and former Vice President Biden, both now private citizens, neither are president or vice president. Trump is the president, Mr. Barr. whatever their level of involvement. Any level of involvement is involvement. Based on the information you have today, well, I have to assume that you have more information than we have, and the information we all have is that absolutely 100%. We know from the January 5th meeting that they were involved in the Flynn situation, which is directly connected to the overall Spygate or Obamagate or whatever you want to call it, fiasco, crime. There is no way that all this was going on through 2016 and into 2017 without Obama knowing about it. You have to be a fool to believe otherwise. Based on the information I have today, I don't expect. Why do you have expectations about Obama and Biden? Your only expectation should be to get to the bottom of it, to find out who committed crimes and to prosecute them. I don't expect Mr. Durham's work will lead to a criminal investigation of either man. Why not? Based on what you know today, you don't expect Mr. Durham's work will lead to a criminal investigation of either man. Why not? What do you know today that we don't know? Because what we know is it looks like Obama and Biden were up to their eyeballs in the whole thing. So what information do you have? Our concern of potential criminality is focused on others. Now, that statement there should make Brennan and Comey and Clapper and all these guys pretty damn nervous. But we don't know what Attorney General Barr means by others. He could mean some low level, like Kleinsmith for changing the email. And maybe you can find a couple other guys in the kind of the mid-level guys. That's what that could mean. He also goes on to explain that there's a recent Supreme Court decision that says that abuse of power isn't the same thing as a crime. Actually, I do believe that abuse of power is a federal crime. Okay? It just looked to me, I mean, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong here, maybe I'm misreading this, but I watched the freaking video 3 or 4 times. And it sure looked to me like he's setting the stage for a few low to mid-level people to get a slap on the wrist, and for the chief people behind it all, Obama's one of the top people, top 3, along with the Right Reverend Clinton and probably Brennan, being probably your top 3 players in this deal. And it looks to me like I just take Barr's statement as he's taking those people off the table completely. How can you conduct an honest investigation when you start the game by taking people completely out of the equation, especially the top tier? Knowing good and well they had to know. Well, forget Biden. He's an idiot. But Obama absolutely had to know everything that was going on. And was an instigator of it. How can you take it off the table? Oh, let me guess. Because he's a former president. We can't do that to former presidents. Look what they're doing to Trump. On day one. On day one of his presidency. Day one. Not even 1 minute. They were already going to work on him. Unmasking his entire family. On the very minute that he's being sworn in, holding up his hand, taking the oath of office. They're over in the White House, setting up his... Man, this is just... This statement is just beyond... It's just hard to process. that he could say this. I just told him what he should have said, and this ain't it. What happened to the president during the 2016 election and throughout the first 2 years? What the hell do you mean through the first 2 years? It's still going on. In fact, as Barr is making this ballless statement, Nadler's lawyers are heading over to the Supreme Court to argue that they need to get Mueller's witness testimony so that they can use it to impeach the president. It's never stopped. What does he mean the first 2 years? Was he asleep during the Ukraine hoax and the impeachment hearings? And he knows that was all corrupt too. And what's being done there? By the DOJ. I have given Attorney General Barr the benefit of the doubt, even up until yesterday. But as I've said, I really don't trust these guys. The only guy I trust is Trump. That's it. Do you think he's going to, we know the entire Mueller investigation was totally corrupt. Do you think he's going to indict his buddy Bob and his band of Hillary donor posse, lynch mob, corrupt DOJ attorneys? They're all working for freaking lawfare or private law firms. Hell, Mary McCord, after she got done trying to frame Trump in the Russiagate hoax, she moved right over to the damn committee in Congress and went to work on the Ukraine attempt at impeachment, and she's still doing it right now. I mean, that woman should be drugging in handcuffs. She's actively pursuing the takedown of the president based on scams. And she's just free to operate. We just caught Yovanovitch lying. She should have been arrested this morning. McCabe, lying. Comey, lying. Brennan, lying. Clapper, lying. Look what they're doing to Michael Flynn. He's letting that go on. Do you think if this was the Obama administration and you had Holder or Lynch and the situation was reversed, don't you think that they would already have applied major pressure on the federal judge and said, hey, you're screwing with us here, buddy? And they would have found a way to get him to, change his behavior. I don't think that Attorney General Barr clearly understands this enemy. He clearly does not understand the enemy. If you can't understand the enemy, you cannot defeat them. And as I've been saying since day one, when I started doing these videos, you cannot reason with these people. You cannot get along with these people. You cannot negotiate and compromise with these people. You can only defeat these people. They are freaking evil. And I know what Barr's thinking is on this. His thing is, well, I'm going to prove that I'm not above the law, that I'm going to restore the Department of Justice, and we're going to go back to doing things by the book. This stuff that happened in the past 4 years, or he says 2 years, it's still going on. This stuff that happened with Trump in the 2016 election was wrong. It shouldn't have happened, but I'm going to fix everything. We're going to prove that we're bigger men than that. We're not going to do what they did. We're not going to do what they did. We're going to follow the law. We're going to follow the law and restore justice and integrity to the Department of Justice. Me and Chris Wray, and he's going to fix the FBI. He's a dope. As soon as he's out of office, as soon as a Democrat comes into office, the first thing they're going to do is appoint a crooked hack like Holder and go back to doing the same shit that they did to Trump. Why wouldn't they? They can get away with it because some moron Republican attorney general like Barr is going to go, well, we don't behave like the Democrats. We're the good guys. Yeah, and you're getting your ass kicked. This is not a game for good guys. This is a game for guys like me who understand who the enemy is. I'd have no problem. I already would have had all these people in jail. Attorney General Barr clearly, based on his statements yesterday, doesn't understand the nature of the problem. Doesn't understand it. That's the only conclusion I can draw. He's taken... Now, some people say, well, he said may, based on the information I have now, which means maybe in 6 months I get some new information after the election. Oh, and then we go after Obama and Biden. Bullshit! That's bullshit. You can believe that if you want to, but I'm telling you it's bullshit. So Trump was asked about it, and Trump was having a press conference about coronavirus and other things, and he was asked about this as well. And he said, this is Trump, he said, I have no doubt that they were involved, talking about Obama and Biden, they were involved in this hoax, one of the worst things to ever befall this country in terms of political scandal. This is very serious, very, very serious. I have no doubt they were involved in it. And then when asked about Barr's earlier comment, he said he was surprised by Barr's comment. He said it just proves there's a double standard, and he was surprised. I mean, he clearly was, you can see. He hadn't heard Barr's comment before the question. And so it rattled him. He's thinking just like me and like you. He's going, Barr said what? Barr said as to President Obama and Vice President Biden, whatever their level of involvement based on the information I have today, I don't expect Mr. Durham's work will lead to a criminal investigation of either man. Our concern of potential criminality is focused on others. Yep. And what happened to Trump during the 2016 election and throughout the first 2 years of his administration was abhorrent. It was really, really bad, but we're not looking at the two possible, at least the number one, one of the very, very top people who had to know everything. The very fact that you take this guy off the table is where he made his fatal mistake. And I don't care about people say, well, he kind of said may. At this time, we don't have the information. No. You're not getting it. He takes the top guy off the table. You can't take anybody off the... You ask any detective doing a criminal investigation, and they will tell you that if they have not completed their investigation, and you ask them in the middle of their investigation, they will not take anybody off the table, especially the top guy, the guy who would have known about every bit of it. Do you think that all these people below him were doing all these things and he didn't know about it? You have to be an idiot to believe that. You have to be an idiot to believe that. It sounded like to me that Barr is setting the stage for a soft landing. Sounds to me like what he wants to do is come out and get out just enough information to say this was really bad, serious abuse of power, but abuse of power is not a federal crime. You can do abuse of power all day long. There's no federal statute. There's no federal statute for abuse of power. I thought there was. Actually, abuse of power. Federal statute. Da-da-da-da-da. But apparently, Barr doesn't believe that, as bad as it could be. It could be really, really bad abuse of power. But that's not necessarily a federal crime. No. Boom. He just opened the door all the way to let these fuckers off the hook. That's what he just did. And Trump's like, huh? Just like me and everybody. And what did he say? Based on the evidence you have today, you don't think Obama and Biden should be targeted in the criminal investigation? First of all, even saying that during the middle of a criminal investigation, taking people off the table who are the top tier. In most investigations, you get lower people, you charge lower people with crimes to get to the top guy. That's what they were trying to do to Trump. The difference is they were making the shit up. They were manufacturing false evidence to get people under Trump so that they could threaten them with jail time if they don't give up some fake evidence on Trump. They said, make it up. Make it up. We don't give a damn if it's true or not. Just make it up. The same thing they did with Curveball to get the Iraq war. Yeah, we know you're giving us all bullshit because Curveball actually tells the CIA guys, man, I love the money you guys are paying me. I keep giving you all this information, but I mean, you do know that what I'm telling you is total bullshit, right? And they're like, oh yeah, of course we know it's total bullshit. Keep giving it to us. Here's the money. Keep coming. Same thing. So here you have Attorney General Barr. He knows what happened. He knows exactly what they were doing. But he is not going to play that game. He's not going to be like the Democrats. He's not going to be like the corrupt other people who are still freaking there. Those 40 FBI agents who are part of that are still there. Most of them. This guy, he doesn't get it. I thought he got it. He apparently doesn't get it. He thinks he can have a kumbaya moment. He thinks he's going to say, okay, we're just going to clean the slate. We're just going to clean the slate. We're not going to play the same game they did. Bullshit! He doesn't understand the game he's playing. He doesn't understand the threat. He doesn't understand the enemy. He thinks by being Mr. Nice Guy and by thinking he's going to come along and be the adult in the room that somehow the Democrats are going to say, oh, Attorney General Barr, thank you so much for having such a big heart and realizing that. And, you know, we see the error of our ways. We see the error of our ways. And we've turned over a new stone. And I can promise you, Attorney General Barr, that if we ever have the opportunity to serve again, I can promise you that we'll conduct ourselves with the utmost of integrity. We won't play any of these games. We won't do any of these things. Hey, by the way, how's that thing going on the Supreme Court? Are we going to get those documents or not? We got to get that impeachment. Election's coming up. Attorney General Barr, we will be, yes, we will be, we will be as pure as the wind-driven snow. You can count on us to play it straight, Attorney General Barr. Yes, that's right. That's right. They're just gonna turn over a new stone. They're gonna come clean. They're gonna go through a 12-step program for tyranny. That's right. They're gonna change their tyrannical ways. Their corrupt, vicious, tyrannical ways. The whole and the thing that blows my freaking mind is that when he says, well, what they did to the president in the first 2 years, what does he mean the first 2 years? It's never stopped. They're working on his next impeachment hearing right now. They're in the Supreme Court trying to get Mueller's testimony from the grand juries, in which they literally are telling the court so that they can use it for their next shot at impeachment. They're not done. They want to get the Mueller grand jury testimony and find something there that they can use to go for another shot at impeachment before the election comes up, to do as much political damage as possible. These people will never stop. They are not freaking normal people. They are crazy. That's who Barr is trying to somehow pretend that these people are, rational, reasonable, normal people. They're not. They're psychopathic political hacks. And you want to give these people power. The only way, Attorney General Barr, that you're going to correct the problem with these people is make them feel the pain. Let them feel the pain. And let them know that when they inflict pain on you, you're going to inflict twice as much on them. You want to stop this? Inflict some serious pain. Slap the fucking cuffs on Comey, on Yates, on the whole damn crew. SWAT raid their ass. Look what they did to Manafort. Look what they did to Stone. SWAT raid their ass. Tomorrow morning, slap the cuffs on Yovanovitch. You caught her lying. All these guys you caught lying. You don't need to wait. Well, we're going to wait till the... No, you don't. Charge them with the crime you got them on now, and you can charge them on other crimes later. People get charged with additional crimes and they're sitting in freaking prison. They're sitting in prison if, I thought I got away with those 10 crimes. I guess they caught me. And they just add them to the list. This guy does not know what the hell he's doing. He has no idea who the enemy is or how to deal with it. He thinks he's got to protect his beloved Department of Justice. But the Department of Justice is a piece of shit. It is a corrupt organization. It is completely corrupt. There's nothing to save. You need to blow it up. You need to blow it up, politically speaking, and start over. Right along with the FBI. Detonate both of them. Bring in the guys who did the tower job on 9/11. Let them implode the entire thing, blow up the buildings. DOJ, FBI, bring them down in free fall collapse method. They've demonstrated they can do it very well without damaging too much else around. It'll be a big construction project. We can do a skylight to the moon ceremony. We can all gather and join hands and sing Kumbaya. We can do all these things. Bring down the buildings, start completely over, new people, fire everyone, start over, completely rebuild it. It is completely corrupted. There's no way to fix it. Now, what does Trump do about the problem he now understands he has? Remember, trust Trump. He is not going to let these people get away with it. He's thinking right now, okay, it looks like Barr is going to be a sissy. Now what am I going to do? Shit, I thought Barr was actually going to get to the bottom of this. Now what am I going to do? Because I'm not letting these people get away with it. Believe me, Trump is not the type of guy that's going to let these people walk. He's more pissed off than I am. And I'm pissed. In case you can't tell. He is going to, by the way, profanity alert. Profanity alert. I try not to curse or use certain words, but some days I don't give a damn. I'm pissed. Now, profanity alert, by the way. Now, what does Trump do in response to this new revelation that his attorney general, obviously, his I don't know what happened. Maybe he, I don't know what happened, but something happened, obviously, to his thinking. Because he'd been kind of saying some of the right things, which maybe is the whole point. You know, you see this a lot from Lindsey Grahamnesty. But my recommendation to President Trump right now, I mean, this is what I would do if it were me. After watching what Barr said on TV yesterday, you know what I would do? I wouldn't even call Barr. I wouldn't even call him on the phone tomorrow. I would not call him and let him know anything. You know what I would do? I would bring in Rick Grinnell and my chief of staff, and I would say, okay, did you guys hear Barr's statement the other day? Good, me too. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to appoint a special counsel. Give him all the powers that Mueller had to look into the coup, straight up. To look into the attempt to overthrow the government of the United States. And I am going to appoint Sidney Powell. And let her appoint her own team with full prosecutorial powers, full subpoena power, whatever. She gets it all. And any information that Durham has collected to this point in his investigation, all the information collected by the IG, all that information will be available to Sidney Powell and her team. That's exactly what I would do. I would let Barr find out about it on TV, the same way Trump found out about what he said in his press conference. He got sideswiped with it by a reporter. I would let Barr literally sit there in his office and hear, well, President Trump has just appointed a special counsel, Sidney Powell, to investigate the attempted overthrow of the government in 2016. And she's going to be putting together a team with full prosecutorial powers, just like Mueller had. She'll also be looking at the Mueller investigation itself as part of the effort to overthrow the government of the United States. And the Attorney General has just been informed, by the way, by this broadcast. That's what I would do. I would come out tomorrow morning if I'm Trump with a press conference. I'd walk up to the party and say, yes, I just want to let you know that as of this morning, I've contacted Sidney Powell. I've appointed her as my new special counsel. She is going to investigate the attempted overthrow of my government back in 2016 and the events that led up to that. And everything, in fact, is still going on to this day. This will include the attempted impeachment of the hoax Ukraine. This will include activities going on in the Ukraine, activities by, everybody, the foreign actors, the Clinton campaign, Mueller, and in fact, all the way up into Rodenstein, the whole 9 yards, including Obama, who had to know about every bit of it. I would appoint a special counsel, Sidney Powell, and I wouldn't tell Barr about it. I'd let him find out about it on TV from the news reports, from my press conference. That's what I would do. But that's just me. And then when Barr comes into my office and walks in and goes, but Mr. President, I appointed Durham and, we're investigating this. I mean, I don't I'll go, see the door? Hit it. Don't care. Durham's working for Sidney Powell now. Go play golf. Play your bagpipes. stroke your buddy Bob in Sunday school. I don't give a damn what you do. There's a fucking door. That's what I would do. That's just me. But then again, I'm kind of an asshole. So, that's how I would handle the situation. I don't need to. I mean, I've been watching this for too long. I've been on this story for 3 years. Okay, many of you have been on this story as well, following this story for 3 years. You know exactly what I'm talking about. If we were early on in this thing, I could maybe understand it. But we are way, way, way too far. And there is this thing called the statute of limitations. And I just have, at this point, based on what Barr said yesterday, I just don't have any confidence. I really don't. I mean, I gave him the benefit of the doubt all the way. I've been giving him the benefit of the doubt. He reminds me of Lindsey Graham a lot. Says a lot of the right things, but when it comes to action, you don't really see him very much. Now, speaking of Lindsey Grahamnesty, let's get to him. Yes, Lindsey Grahamnesty, who's preparing his show trial, which is mainly designed for him to raise money for his re-election. He's in a tough race down there in South Carolina, and his opponent's raising a hell of a lot of money. He's definitely needing some cash, so he needs some FaceTime. He needs to put on a big show for us all. An extravaganza. So what he's getting ready to do, he released a statement today that he is getting ready to have some hearings to find out whether or not he can get the Democrats' permission to send out some subpoenas. Now, in order to give out the subpoenas to all these so-called perps in the Russiagate hoax, and you know all their names, he's got two things he can do. He can either go to Senator Dianne Turn In Your Guns, Mr. and Mrs. America Feinstein, and get her to sign on as she is the ranking member, in which case he can subpoena all these people. But that probably won't happen, so then he'll have to have debate for a couple of days in the committee, and then they'll have a vote. It likely, or should be, a party line vote. Well, you have Democrats, Republicans. The Republicans should have one more vote than the Democrats, which means the Democrats all vote against the subpoenas. The Republicans should all vote for it, and Lindsey Grahamnesty will then get permission to send out the subpoenas, and he says that they will have the vote on June the 4th. That's about, almost 3 weeks away. 3 weeks away, 3 weeks just to discuss and debate with the enemy whether or not he can send out subpoenas. I don't get it. I would go to Feinstein and I would say, Dianne, are you okay with all these subpoenas on the deep state coup plotters? She's going to, no. Okay, good. Well, good. Tomorrow morning we're going to have a vote. Good. Tomorrow morning you have the vote. Okay, all those who want to have subpoenas for the coup plotters, raise your hand. Every Republican should raise their hand. And then all the Democrats who want to have subpoenas for the coup plotters, raise your hand. None will raise their hand. Good, we win. 9-8. Thank you very much for coming today. Subpoenas start tomorrow. That is how I would handle it. But then again, like I said, that's how I would do things. I wouldn't play the game. I just wouldn't play the game. Now, Ron Johnson, who has a reasonable amount of integrity, has also sent a letter to Attorney General Barr yesterday asking him to declassify the portion of Susan Rice's January 20, 2017 email about secret Oval Office meetings, particularly the one on January the 5th. And he says that the American people and Congress need to better understand what occurred during January 5th, 2017 meeting. Well, yes, Ron, we do need to better understand it, although I have a pretty good understanding of it now. They had a meeting to figure out how they were going to stop Flynn from taking over as National Security Advisor because he would discover their plot, and they also laid out the groundwork for keeping the evidence away from Trump as well so that they could plan for his decapitation, if you know what I mean. That's what happened there, Ron, but thanks for the effort. I mean, I appreciate it. But no, I'd rather just go ahead and get to the bottom of this and hang these effing traitors. That's just my opinion. But then again, that's how I am. All right, well, thank you so much for tuning in. I will be back tomorrow with more Towergate. See you guys. Bye.